Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to peek into a creditor's crystal ball. We're talking about the key numbers they use to figure out if a company is a safe bet or a huge gamble. We'll break down the crucial earnings coverage ratios that reveal a company's real ability to pay its debts. So let's start with a really fundamental question. If it were your money on the line, millions of dollars, how would you actually know you'd get it back? Whether you're a lender, an investor, or a CMA candidate, knowing how to answer this is absolutely essential. All right, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the core question that every creditor asks. Then we're going to master 3 different ratios, each one a little more powerful than the last. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a recap designed to get you prepped for the CMA exam. All right, first things first, what are these ratios all about? Well, creditors have a specific set of tools they use to measure whether a company can actually generate enough income to handle its debt payments. Think of them like this. They're basically a group of financial tools that ask one super important question. Do this company's day-to-day operations bring in enough money to cover the payments it absolutely, positively has to make?
And this isn't just some random metric. As the source material says, it's a creditor's best measure. It cuts through all the noise and gets right to the heart of the matter. Can the core business truly support the way it's financed?
Okay, let's dive into our first and probably most fundamental tool in the kit. It's called the times interest earned ratio, or just TIE for short.
This one is the real workhorse of the group. It's super straightforward. It compares a company's operating profit, that's its earnings before interest and taxes, or EBIT, directly to what it owes in interest.
Okay, but wait a minute. This is a huge point, and it's a classic trip up on the CMA exam. Why on earth are we using EBIT and not just the bottom line, net income?
All right, here's the key. Think about how you get to net income. You have to subtract interest expense to calculate it, right? So if we used net income to see if a company can cover its interest, well, the interest has already been taken out. It wouldn't make any sense. That's why we use EBIT. It shows us the whole pot of money the company's operations generated before any of it went to pay the lenders. Now, to get a really accurate TIE ratio, there are a couple of little details you've got to remember. First, for the numerator, the top number, you want to stick to recurring operational earnings. A one-time gain from selling a factory, that's not part of the core business, so we leave it out. And for the denominator, the bottom number, we need to include all the interest, even capitalized interest, to get the full picture. Let's make this real with an example. You can see right here, for the current year, the company pulled in $150,000 in EBIT, and its interest expense was $15,000. So we just do the math. EBIT divided by interest expense. And that gives us our ratio for this year, which is 10 times. Now, a number like 10, that sounds pretty good, right? But a single number in isolation, it doesn't really tell you the whole story. So, what this really means is that for every single dollar the company owed in interest, it generated $10 in operating profit to cover it. That's a really healthy safety net. But, and this is the important part, look at the trend. Last year, it was 12.5. So it's gone down. A good analyst would immediately start digging. What happened? Did profits shrink, or did they just take on a bunch of new debt? That's the story the numbers are telling. But hang on, interest isn't the only bill a company has to pay, right? I mean, think about a big retail company. They might have hundreds of store leases. Those lease payments are just as mandatory as interest payments. And that brings us to our next ratio. This is where the earnings to fixed charges ratio comes in. It takes the solid idea behind the TI ratio and just expands it to get a more complete picture of all of the company's non-negotiable payments. And the calculation really just builds on what we already know. We start with EBIT, just like before, but then we adjust the top number by adding back lease payments. And on the bottom, our denominator now includes everything: interest, leases, and any required principal repayments. You can see how this becomes a much tougher, more realistic test of the company's financial strength.
So, why do we call this more conservative? Well, just imagine that retail company again. It might have a fantastic TIE ratio, looking super safe, but if it's leasing all its stores, those lease payments are a massive fixed cost. The fixed charges ratio catches that. It prevents a company from looking healthy on the surface when it actually has these huge obligations.
Okay, but there's still one potential problem with both of the ratios we've talked about so far. They're based on earnings, and earnings are calculated using accrual accounting. And as any good accountant knows, profit on the books is not the same thing as cash in the bank.
I mean, a company can look like it's crushing it, reporting huge profits because it made a ton of sales on credit. But if those customers haven't actually paid up yet, the company doesn't have the cash to pay its own bills. That's why we have one more ratio that just cuts right through all the accounting rules and looks at one thing: cold, hard cash.
And here it is, the cash flow to fixed charges ratio. Honestly, a lot of analysts see this as the ultimate test of solvency. Why? Because it completely ignores accrual earnings. At the end of the day, you can't pay your interest bill with an IOU from a customer, right? You need actual cash. This ratio is the ultimate reality check.
All right, let's pull all of this together. If you're prepping for the CMA exam, this is where you really want to lean in and make sure it all clicks.
Look, on the exam, just calculating the ratio correctly, that's only half the battle. The real points come from showing you understand what it means. What story are these numbers telling you? Is the company's risk going up or down? That's the kind of thinking that's going to set you apart.
So here's a quick cheat sheet for you. We started with the basic one, times interest earned. Then we leveled up to the earnings to fixed charges ratio for a more conservative view. And finally, we hit the gold standard, the cash flow to fixed charges ratio, which uses actual cash. Go ahead and screenshot this one. It's perfect for your study notes. Because at the end of the day, that's the real skill here, isn't it? It's not just about crunching numbers. It's about being a financial detective, seeing the story that the numbers are trying to tell you. Is this company on solid ground, or is it standing on a shaky foundation? Now, you've got 3 incredibly powerful tools in your toolkit to figure that out.